Okay, now I'll create data with the many-to-many relationship. So I am in the create data.crud.typescript, and I can start in the create posts at the end. So here I will just call after I read the users and all of this. So I will call and await many to many create. So this is a function that I will create. So const many to many create will be equal to a sync function that accepts a variable code connection of type connection. Okay, and so here I will create here I will link the category with each post we have. So before I link that, I need to create the categories. So I will create a variable called let me copy that, called create cat, which is an async function, also accepts the connection. Okay, we can start here. So first thing, I will get the repository for the categories entity. So categories repository of type, so categories repository of type repository category entity will be equal to the connection dot get repository of the categories entity, like this one. I need to import this. So I imported all the entities that I will use. Okay, so I have the categories repository. What I need to do now is to create 10 categories. So I'll randomize that. So for of, so underscore, I don't care about the variable. So array from length 10, so 10 times. So first thing, I will create a label. So remember that our categories entity have a label. So const label will be equal to something from faker, which is the I just choose one randomly. So this is the hacker object, which has some names of hackers. So I believe so, I can't remember, but yeah, it just returns some strings. So here I will use the verb, so return a verb from the hacker object each time. Now const category to save, which will be equal to new categories entity. So this, the type of this will be partial categories entity, and here I will go to the entity and create a constructor. So, and this constructor accepts just this label as a string, and this dot label equal label. But before that, of course, call the super constructor. Now we need to pass this here. So, and the categories repository dot save the categories to save, right? So like this, I created 10 categories. So I will call this here. So await and pass the connection. So before you establish the link, and which means before you put data in the conjunction table, just to create categories. And now I need to link two categories for each post or something like this. No, actually for each post I created, for each post I created here, I will just link it with a random category. So how we can do this is, this function should accept the posts array. So this will be an array of post entity, and I need to create this here. So const posts will be of type array of posts entity. So for now it's empty. Now for each one I will just push it there. So posts will push that, so it will complain. So as posts entity, and also push the second post. Okay, now just pass this post. Okay, so now for each post I will just link it with a randomized category. So that's why I just saved the categories before the categories. Sorry, that's why I saved the categories before creating the link. So now I can retrieve them and get one of them each iteration randomly. So now I will get the repository for the categories. So const category repository will be of type repository of the categories entity. So this will be connection.get repository the category entity. So like I said in the, I think the third video, this is like the connection manager but only for one repository, which is more readable. And now I need also to get the repository for the posts categories, or the categories posts, the conjunction table. This is the repository for the conjunction table. Okay, so the same syntax. Okay, now I need to get all the categories like this. So await the categories repository dot find. This will get them all. And now for off posts, I will just create an instance from the conjunction table, which if you look at it, we have the sum column and we have the post and the category. So I need to create a constructor that accepts those. So first thing is a sum column, which is string, and the post, which is the post entity, and the category, which is the categories entity. And now this dot string, this dot sum column equals sum column, this dot post equal post, and this dot category equal category, and of course console, like this. Okay, now I need for each post to create an instance of the conjunction table and pass to it these, the sum column, the post, and the category. So for the sum column, I will use also the hacker object dot adjective, I believe I will use. Yeah, I'm just a string, you know. So now on const cat post be equal to new categories posts entity, and I will pass the sum column, pass the current post I am looping on, and I will pass random dot array element, and I will pass the categories array categories, which is this one. So this is an array of category, this one, the categories entity. So each time a random element from this array, which is a random set of all our categories, the 10 we created here, will be selected. So now we just need to use the categories posts repository. So await categories post repository dot save and pass the cat post. I believe that's it. Hopefully I wrote everything correctly. So let me run it. So npm run ts node app.ts. I already, if you remember, coding this. This is the starting point for everything in the app.ts. So everything run correct without errors. So hopefully no errors. Let me refresh. Now let's go at the categories and let's look at the data. So we should have 10, which is correct. We have 10 categories, and let's look at the categories posts. So we have 20 because we looped over the 20 posts, and for each post we assign it to a random category, so we might see the same category ID multiple times, but the post ID is just from 1 to 20, right? So this post ID and yeah, this post ID of 1 and of 13 has the same category, which is 4. Yeah, I think that's nice, and the sum column has these things. Yeah, that's a way to insert. And I think if you look at the docs, I'm not sure if I have them, but TypeORM, maybe I lost connection, but if you look at the documentation, there is multiple ways to insert. Let's go to many, and as you can see here, this is the category. They saved that. They saved 2 categories, and they just added them into the property categories inside the question as an array, and then save the question, and that established the connection in the conjunction table. So this is from the first example we saw, and yeah, basically this is a way. But I still think doing this custom table, which represents the conjunction table, adding custom columns, and going through all of this, which might seem a little bit too much, is still a better idea. It will give you more customization over your application on how the TypeORM behaves. So yeah, I think that's fine. Maybe it looks confusing, but I think it's really readable.